What's up? Welcome back. Today I'll be talking about this guy right here. His name is Muhoozi. Muhoozi is the son of the Ugandan president, Yoweri Museveni. And a few days ago, he made some tweets that caused a stir in the Kenyan online and also in Uganda. Between the countries, it caused a lot of controversy, where even the foreign minister of Kenya and that of the High Commissioner of Uganda, they had to be involved to clarify and to know what was going on, because he had talked about how his army, remember at the time he was making those tweets, he was the commander of the land forces of Uganda. So he was talking about how his army would take less than 2 weeks to capture Nairobi. This, to many Kenyans, they assumed he was talking about maybe when the two countries at war, maybe, or maybe he was during an invasion. We don't know what. It was not clear what he was talking about, because he later came out to say he was just joking. But I don't think he made several tweets. It was not just one, because he was making one tweet and then waiting for the responses. And then later he would make a comeback as if... so I don't think if he was making a joke, it's a very sick joke, because remember in the 70s when Uganda was under Idi Amin, Idi Amin had always made these comments about how he would invade Kenya and how the boundary between Uganda and Kenya was not made fairly by the colonizers. He wanted to push the boundary eastwards towards Kenya and take a portion of Kenya. So when this son of Museveni made these tweets, Kenyans online took it on a very... They were not happy about it, because right now, especially in Kenya, we have a new government. There's so many problems going on. There's a drought, there's hunger, people are hungry. There's a new school system that the new government have not even settled in. So there are so many problems. The economy is not good. Agriculture is not doing good. So these are people are handling some serious things, and this guy is just joking in Uganda. And also I think in Uganda they also have some serious things to tackle. For example, there's an outbreak of Ebola there, and they are also, you know, this is Africa. There are constant things, there are constant problems that are much more serious than this kind of nonsense going online to make this kind of jokes, because these kind of jokes are the ones made by bloggers and some others high school kids. These are not things to be made by a general in his army. He should know his position. He should know what kind of position he's holding. But anyway, he was later summoned by his dad, Museveni, and he was removed from that status, the commander of the land forces. But I later learned he was also promoted. So I don't know what kind of nonsense, what kind of joke they are having there in Uganda, because even Museveni... Anyway, I later came to learn that this is what this guy has been doing. His father is always coming in to rescue him from his nonsensical mistakes, because he's always... I learned he runs his mouth. He's known to talk anyhow. But anyway, because his dad is the president, he comes to cool down the waters. That's why he came later to take care of him. He was summoned. But some things emerged from this hullabaloo he was causing, because even Kizza Besigye, who was once leading the opposition in Uganda, came out to say that how... I don't know, who was trying to advise Kenyans maybe they should take this threat serious, because some time ago Uganda had bought some jets from Russia which are more advanced than the Kenyan ones, which is true, and kudos to them, because they had bought they have the Sukhoi jets, the Su-30 jets, which are by far advanced than the kind of junk, the F5 jets that Kenya has, which they bought in the 1970s. And later, sometime later, they bought some old ones, the same model, the F5 jets from Jordan. And these ones from Jordan were even worse because the Jordan was trying to dispose of them. But Kenya went to buy the garbage, whatever, because some of them later came to, they did not perform. One crashed in Somalia during the Linda Nchigi operation there. Another one was dropping parts of all over Laikipia during training, and they had to do an emergency landing. So anyway, what he was talking about, yes, it's true, but even those ones that they bought in Uganda, they bought just 6 of them, which I don't think would be enough for an invasion or any kind of serious military operation against another country. So this Muhoozi guy came out to look very stupid and very foolish. Because if he's an army general, I think he should have that kind of expertise and knowledge about what he's talking about. Because if you're talking about invading, he was talking about how he'd capture Nairobi within 2 weeks, which he should know the geography of the area he's talking about. The space between Nairobi and Uganda, that area is which holds more than half of the Kenyan population. So this guy seems not to be very well versed with the region he's talking about. And also he was talking about how he was asking, should I live in, if I capture Nairobi, should I live in Westlands or Riverside? Which also proves he doesn't know what he's talking about, because if you are an army general and you go capture a place like Nairobi, I don't think you'd want to live in Westlands, near the city, where of course the chaos will be. Even the current, even in peacetime, like right now, even our own president, he doesn't live anywhere near the city center. So this guy, I don't know, maybe he has watched too much of those Ugandan movies. This kind of right here. Maybe this is what he has been watching, this kind of right here. Maybe this. Maybe this is what he has been watching, because I saw some post on Facebook where some people were joking that maybe he had drunk waraji. For those of you who don't know what waraji is some local brew, some changa they have in Uganda, made from bananas and some chemicals that they drink over there. Because this Muhoozi, he's known to throw parties, and some people thought maybe he was drunk and he was just tweeting, not knowing what he was talking about. Because even afterwards, as I have said, he was promoted by his father. His rank was improved, I think, to that of a general in the Ugandan army. And later he said he will throw, I don't know, a 1-week party to celebrate that. So he's known to throw parties and to enjoy himself and to behave however he wants. As of course his dad always comes in to take care of the whatever nonsense he causes. But also, as I said, his rank as in the army, he should be knowing about some of the things he's talking about. Because if he's talking about like an invasion, maybe he can see this from the recent events that have been happening from Russia. When Russia took over Crimea and Mariupol and all those eastern Donetsk and Luhansk, he can see how they are having a headache. And this is a country with a very big army and very big capacity. But you see, when you invade, you have to bring your own administrators. You have to hold elections in the local areas, because you need mayors, you need administrators, you need a government running. Because when you invade, of course, you replace the army. This Muhoozi, he was not thinking, because he was talking about finding a home, whether in Westlands or Riverside. I don't think if you invade a country, that is not what we are going to look for. And also, he did not even give a reason why he would be invading Kenya, because as I said, maybe he had been watching too many movies, because when you invade a country, you invade with a purpose and a goal. It's not about rushing to capture Nairobi and looking for somewhere to stay. You have to ask yourself, what are you aiming to achieve after you have captured? What are you capturing for? What is the goal to be achieved? So he came out to look very stupid and foolish. And it seems, I don't know if maybe they are too idle in Uganda. Maybe he doesn't have anything good to do. Maybe he should ask his father what to do when he's not busy. Maybe he can join his dad in doing this. Because we are used to such theatrics from Museveni. So I don't know, this guy, he should not be taken seriously, as Basije was saying that we should. Maybe in Uganda, because I learned that in Uganda, whenever this guy speaks, people will listen. Because of course, some view that one day he might come to be the leader of Uganda after Museveni has retired. That is, if he's retired. Because nobody knows when Museveni will stop being president. So it's and this is what I talk about. By the way, if you have not checked my other videos, you can check them in my playlists about when I talk about leaders in Africa. And this is why we sometimes find ourselves in a very sorry situation as African countries, because imagine this is someone who has the potential to be maybe the next leader of Uganda, and this kind of nonsense is what he's choosing to do on Twitter, instead of finding good things to do, or maybe talk about the problems in his own country. He's choosing to do this kind of blogger nonsense that the high school kids and college kids do. This is what he's choosing to do, and that's why no wonder African countries are lagging behind everyone else in the world. Because if this is the kind of minds we have, we are doomed. Because this guy is 48 years old. At 48, I think you should be serious with your life. You should not be making such going online to do such a thing. Later I learned that he said it's a joke, because when he was summoned by his father, he later came out to say that his father has told him to forgive the Kenyans who insulted him, and and made a lot of memes online about him. He said that his father had told him to forgive, and I don't know what he means by forgive, because this is what I'm talking. Maybe he thinks Kenyans, he thinks the situation in Kenya maybe is like the one in Uganda, because I understand in Uganda they have all these kind of intimidation, arresting people, scaring people. Maybe he thinks that is what Kenya's situation is like, which is very different. You cannot come to Kenya to bring such kind of nonsense, arresting people and scaring people and making threats. You cannot do that. Maybe he thinks that's why he was talking about joining Uganda and Kenya, merging them into one country, and about how his father would be the president and the president of Kenya would be the vice president of the new country, and him, the Muhoozi guy, now he would be the chief advisor to the president. So this is why maybe some people are joking that he had drank some waraji and he was was not in his right mind, because making such kind of daydreaming. Because and this is also some people in Kenya, some few weeks ago when Museveni came he was invited for the swearing in of the new Kenyan president, and he was reminding the speaker who spoke before him was now the new deputy president of Kenya. He was reminding him. Actually, he was like kind of he was reminding him that when he was speaking, he did not speak about East Africa integration. And this is why actually some Kenyans were so annoyed by this Muhoozi making these nonsense kind of comments on Twitter, because his father had talked about how Kenyans were not remembering about the East African integration, which, for those of you who don't know, is this plan that the countries in East Africa have of, as I said, the integration, about the economy, improving intra-African trade, how about you don't need passports to move between the countries, and all the trade things, the trade deals they ought to be having together and all this. But also that dream at the end, at the tail end of all that, there's this idea that maybe after doing all this, there can be some kind of political integration, which maybe would be forming some kind of federation or something. But it's not the way that this Muhoozi guy is thinking, that about erasing the borders and joining the countries. Of course, it's not something of that kind. It's about all these trade and things. There was this idea of coming up with maybe a currency like the one they have in Europe, the euro. See, in countries in Europe, for example, it's the euro that if you are in Britain, you can either choose to trade in euros and also in pounds in case you are trading with the other country. And such kind is not as easy as I'm talking about, but it's about improving the economies and whatever. It's not about having one president for all the countries. It's not such kind of nonsense. So this Muhoozi, maybe he's thinking in a kind of juvenile manner, and he seems to be so misinformed about the whole region. If you check all his series of tweets and all he had been talking about, he seems so misinformed, and he seems to be this kid who has been brought up under the protection of his father. So he's just misbehaving however he wants, and his dad is coming in to tame the fires. So it's anyway, I can keep going on and on, but just go in the comment section below and let me know about your thoughts on this topic and more. And if you haven't subscribed, kindly do, so that you can get a notification each time I post a new video. So that's it for today. See you next time. I'm out. Peace.